Welcome back to the channel The Coin Empire. Today we are diving into one of the most shocking and unbelievable stories in the world of coin collecting, a tiny everyday coin that many people overlook without a second thought, the 1999 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson Nickel, a coin that could be hiding in your pocket change right now, yet under certain rare conditions and because of extraordinary minting errors and unique circumstances it has been rumored and speculated to reach an astonishing value of up to $75 million, and in this video we are going to explore in deep detail exactly what makes this coin so incredibly valuable, what kinds of errors and mistakes transform an ordinary 5-cent piece into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure, and how you might be able to identify one of these hidden gems yourself. Now, at first glance, the 1999 Jefferson Nickel looks completely normal. It features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side and Monticello on the reverse, a design that has been used for decades and is recognized by millions of Americans. But what most people do not realize is that within the minting process, even the smallest flaw or irregularity can create a coin that becomes highly desirable among collectors, and when multiple rare errors combine on a single coin, the result can be something truly extraordinary, something that drives collectors into bidding wars, pushing the value into unimaginable territory. One of the most significant factors that can make a 1999 nickel worth millions is the presence of a dramatic double die error. This occurs when the coin die used to strike the design is misaligned during its creation, causing the design elements to appear doubled on the final coin. In some cases this doubling is extremely subtle, but in rare instances it is bold and clearly visible, especially in the lettering and facial features of Jefferson coins, with strong double die errors are considered highly collectible, and when such an error is found on a 1999 nickel in pristine condition, its value can skyrocket exponentially. Another major error that contributes to the immense value of this coin is the off-center strike error. During the minting process, coins are supposed to be struck perfectly centered. However, if the planchet is not properly aligned, the design can be struck off-center, resulting in a coin that looks partially blank on one side while the design is shifted to the other side. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible, which is crucial for identification. A 1999 nickel with a significant off-center strike combined with other errors can easily command an extraordinary price in the collector market. Then there is the possibility of a wrong planchet error, which is one of the most fascinating and valuable types of minting mistakes. This occurs when a coin is struck on a planchet that was intended for a different denomination, or even a different metal composition. Imagine a 1999 nickel struck on a dime planchet, or even a foreign coin blank. This kind of error is extremely rare because minting facilities have strict quality control measures in place to prevent such occurrences. However, when they do slip through, they create coins that are considered one-of-a-kind treasures, and collectors are willing to pay enormous sums to own them. Another key factor that could elevate the value of a 1999 nickel to millions is the presence of a full steps designation on the reverse side. Monticello features a set of steps at its base, and in most circulated coins these steps are worn or poorly struck. However, in rare cases a coin may exhibit fully defined steps, which indicates a very sharp and high-quality strike. Coins with full steps are highly sought after, especially when they are in uncirculated condition, and when combined with other rare errors they become even more desirable and valuable. We also cannot ignore the possibility of die cracks and cuts, which occur when the coin die begins to deteriorate or break during use. These imperfections can transfer onto the coin, creating raised lines or blobs of metal on the surface. While minor die cracks are relatively common, larger and more dramatic cuts are much rarer and can significantly increase a coin's value, particularly if they create a unique and visually striking appearance that sets the coin apart from others of the same year. Another rare and valuable error to look for is the clipped planchet error, which happens when the metal blank used to create the coin is improperly cut, resulting in a coin with a missing section along its edge. These clipped areas often have a curved or straight appearance depending on how the error occurred, and they are highly collectible, especially when the rest of the coin is in excellent condition. A 1999 nickel with a prominent clipped planchet combined with other errors could be worth an extraordinary amount of money. One of the most mysterious and intriguing possibilities is the existence of experimental planchets. During certain periods, the mint experiments with different metal compositions, and occasionally coins are struck on these experimental blanks. If a 1999 nickel were discovered to be made from an unusual or undocumented alloy, it could instantly become one of the rarest coins in existence, and collectors would go to extreme lengths to acquire it, driving its value into the millions. Condition also plays a crucial role in determining the value of any coin. A 1999 P nickel that has been preserved in mint state condition with no signs of wear, scratches, or damage is far more valuable than one that has been heavily circulated. Coins graded by professional grading services with a high mint state grades such as MS67 or higher are especially prized, and when such a coin also features rare errors, its value can increase dramatically, sometimes reaching levels that seem almost unbelievable. The story of a $75 million nickel may sound like a myth or exaggeration, but in the world of coin collecting, rarity, uniqueness, and demand are the driving forces behind value, and when a coin possesses a combination of extreme rarity, historical significance, and eye-catching errors, it can become a legend among collectors. There have been instances where coins once thought to be ordinary were later discovered to have rare characteristics that turn them into priceless treasures, and this is why it is so important to carefully examine your coins, because you never know what hidden value might be waiting to be discovered in your spare change. Imagine finding a 1999 P nickel in your collection and noticing something unusual. Perhaps the lettering looks slightly doubled, or the design appears off-center, or the coin feels different in weight and composition. These small details could be the key to unlocking a fortune, and the excitement of that possibility is what makes coin collecting such a thrilling and rewarding hobby. It is a treasure hunt where the prizes are hidden in plain sight, and anyone with a keen eye and a bit of knowledge has the chance to strike it rich. Another important aspect to consider is the role of auctions and private sales in determining a coin's value. When a rare coin is offered at auction, it can attract collectors from around the world, each willing to pay a premium to add the coin to their collection. This competitive environment can drive prices to astonishing levels, especially if the coin is unique or has a compelling story behind it. A 1999 P nickel with multiple rare errors and exceptional condition could easily become the centerpiece of such an auction, resulting in a final sale price that captures global attention. It is also worth noting that the coin market is constantly evolving. New discoveries are made all the time, and coins that were once overlooked can suddenly become highly sought after as collectors gain a deeper understanding of their rarity and significance. This means that the potential value of a 1999 P nickel is not fixed but can change over time depending on market trends, collector interest, and the discovery of new examples or variations. In conclusion, the idea that a simple 5-cent coin from 1999 could be worth $75 million may seem unbelievable, but when you consider the incredible impact of minting errors, rare variations, and collector demand, it becomes clear that such a scenario is not entirely impossible. The key takeaway is that value in the world of coins is not determined by face value but by rarity, uniqueness, and desirability, and sometimes the smallest and most ordinary objects can hold the greatest treasures. So the next time you come across a handful of coins, take a closer look, examine each one carefully, because you might just be holding a piece of history, a rare error coin that could change your life forever. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasures, make sure to stay tuned for more incredible stories right here on the Coin Empire, where every coin has a story and every story could be worth millions. Next, 2003 P 5-cent coin. Today we are uncovering another jaw-dropping mystery from the world of coin collecting, a story that sounds almost impossible yet continues to fascinate collectors and treasure hunters across the globe. The story of the 2003 P 5-cent coin, also known as the Jefferson Nickel, a small everyday coin that most people ignore, but under extremely rare circumstances and because of unusual minting errors, hidden flaws, and extraordinary combinations of mistakes, it has been rumored to reach a staggering value of up to $70 million, and in this deep dive we are going to explore everything that could make such a coin unbelievably valuable, from rare production errors to unique strike anomalies to the role of condition, rarity, and collector demand. And by the end of this you might never look at your pocket change the same way again, because the truth is sometimes the most ordinary coins hide the most extraordinary secrets. Now the 2003 P Jefferson Nickel at first glance appears completely standard. It carries the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, and the image of Monticello on the reverse, a design that had been used for decades before the Westward Journey redesign began in 2004. But beneath this familiar appearance lies the potential for rare and valuable variations that can transform a simple coin into a life-changing discovery. One of the most important types of errors that can Make a 2003 P nickel extremely valuable is the double die error which occurs during the die creation process when the design is accidentally impressed onto the die more than once at slightly different angles. This results in visible doubling on the coin, especially noticeable in the lettering, the date, and the facial features of Jefferson. When this doubling is strong and clearly visible, it becomes highly desirable among collectors, and if such a double die error is found on a 2003 P nickel in near perfect condition, it can dramatically increase the coin's value, sometimes beyond what most people would ever imagine. Another significant error that collectors search for is the off-center strike error. During the minting process, each coin is supposed to be struck evenly within the collar, but if the planchet is misaligned, the resulting coin will have a design that is shifted off-center, leaving a blank crescent-shaped area on one side. The more off-center the strike is while still retaining the date and mint mark, the more valuable the coin becomes, and when this error is combined with other rare features, it can create a truly one-of-a-kind piece that collectors are willing to pay enormous sums to acquire. Then there is the fascinating and highly valuable wrong planchet error, which occurs when a coin is struck on a blank intended for a different denomination, or even a different country. For example, a 2003 P nickel struck on a dime planchet would be smaller, thinner, and composed of a different metal, making it instantly recognizable, and incredibly rare errors like this are extremely difficult to find because the mint has strict controls to prevent them, yet a few always manage to slip through, and when they do, they become some of the most prized items in the numismatic world. A coin like this with a wrong planchet error, in addition to other anomalies, could easily be valued in the millions. Another important factor that contributes to the potential $70 million value is the presence of full steps on the Monticello building on the reverse of the coin. The steps at the base of Monticello are often weakly struck or worn away in circulation, but coins that display fully defined steps are considered to have been struck with exceptional quality and precision. Collectors place a high premium on such coins, especially when they are in uncirculated condition, and when combined with rare errors, the desirability and value increase exponentially. We also need to consider die cracks and die breaks, which occur as the coin dies wear down over time. These imperfections can create raised lines or lumps on the coin's surface, while small die cracks are relatively common. Larger and more dramatic die breaks, known as cuds, are much rarer and can make a coin stand out significantly. If a 2003 P nickel exhibits a large cut in a prominent area of the design, it can become highly collectible, particularly if the coin is otherwise in excellent condition. Another intriguing possibility is the presence of a broad strike error, which happens when a coin is struck outside of the retaining collar, resulting in a coin that is larger than normal with a distorted shape and no defined rim. Broad struck coins are visually striking and highly collectible, and when such an error occurs on a 2003 P nickel along with other anomalies, it can greatly increase the coin's value. Clipped planchet errors are another category of mistakes that can make a coin highly valuable. These occur when the metal blank is improperly cut, resulting in a coin with a missing portion along its edge. These clips can be curved straight or irregular depending on how the error occurred, and they are often accompanied by a feature known as the Blakesley effect, which helps confirm their authenticity. A 2003 P nickel with a significant clipped planchet error, especially in combination with other rare features, could be worth a substantial amount of money. One of the most mysterious and exciting possibilities is the existence of experimental planchets. During certain years, the mint may test new metal compositions, and occasionally coins are struck on these experimental blanks. If a 2003 P nickel were discovered to be made from an unusual or undocumented alloy, it would be considered an extraordinary find and could instantly become one of the most valuable coins in existence, driving collectors into intense competition to acquire it. Condition is another critical factor that determines the value of a coin. A 2003 P nickel that has been preserved in pristine mint state condition with no wear marks, scratches, or discoloration is far more valuable than one that has been circulated. Coins graded at the highest levels, such as MS67 MS68, or even higher, are extremely rare, and when such a coin also features unique errors or anomalies, its value can reach extraordinary heights. The grading process conducted by professional services ensures the authenticity and quality of the coin, which further enhances its desirability among collectors. The story of a $70 million 2003 P nickel may seem unbelievable, but in the world of rare coins, extraordinary things can and do happen. Coins that were once dismissed as ordinary have later been discovered to possess rare characteristics that make them incredibly valuable, and this is why collectors and enthusiasts constantly examine their coins searching for hidden treasures that others may have overlooked. The thrill of discovery is what drives this hobby, and the possibility that a simple nickel could be worth millions adds an element of excitement that few other hobbies can match. Imagine going through your spare change and noticing something unusual about a 2003 P nickel. Perhaps the design looks slightly doubled, or the coin appears larger than normal, or there is a missing section along the edge. These small details could be the key to identifying a rare and valuable error coin, and the realization that you might be holding something worth a fortune is enough to make anyone take a closer look. Auctions also play a significant role in determining the value of rare coins. When a unique or highly desirable coin is put up for auction, it attracts collectors from around the world, each competing to add the coin to their collection. This competition can drive prices to astonishing levels, especially if the coin is one of a kind or has a compelling story behind it. A 2003 P nickel with multiple rare errors and exceptional condition could easily become the centerpiece of such an auction, leading to a final sale price that captures headlines and amazes the world. It is also important to understand that the coin market is constantly evolving. New discoveries are made and collector preferences change over time. A coin that is not widely recognized today could become highly sought after in the future, as more information becomes available, and as collectors gain a deeper appreciation for its rarity and significance. This means that the potential value of a 2003 P nickel is not fixed but can increase dramatically as interest grows, and as new examples are discovered or studied in greater detail. In the end, the idea that a simple 5-cent coin from 2003 could be worth $70 million highlights the incredible power of rarity, uniqueness, and demand in the world of coin collecting. It reminds us that value is not determined by face value but by the story behind the coin, the errors that make it unique, and the desire of collectors to own something truly special. So the next time you come across a handful of coins, take a moment to examine them closely, because you never know what hidden treasure might be waiting to be discovered. And if you enjoyed this incredible journey into the hidden world of rare coins and unbelievable values, be sure to stay connected with the coin empire, where every coin has a story and every story has the potential to change your life forever. Last 2002 D 5-cent coin. Today we are diving deep into one of the most mysterious and potentially life-changing coins you could ever find hiding in your pocket change. A coin that at first glance looks completely ordinary but could secretly be worth an unbelievable $67 million. Yes, you heard that right, we are talking about the 2002 D 5-cent coin from the United States, commonly known as the Jefferson Nickel. A coin that millions of people have handled without a second thought, yet a few extremely rare versions of it have become the subject of intense fascination among collectors due to a combination of rare minting errors, striking anomalies, and unusual production mistakes that can transform this everyday coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. And in this video we are going to explore exactly what makes this coin so incredibly valuable, what kinds of errors and mistakes you need to look for, and why these tiny imperfections can push the value of a simple 5-cent piece into the realm of millions. Now, to understand the story of the 2002 D nickel, we need to first look at how coins are made, because the journey to a $67 million valuation begins not with perfection but with flaws. Coins are produced at facilities like the Denver Mint, where large sheets of metal are punched into blanks. These blanks are then heated, cleaned, and struck with dyes that imprint the design. In the case of the 2002 D nickel, the obverse features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse shows his home Monticello. But during this process a number of things can go wrong, and when they do the results can be astonishing. One of the most valuable types of errors associated with the 2002 D nickel is the double die error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin is improperly aligned during its creation, causing the design to appear doubled on the finished coin. And while minor doubling can sometimes go unnoticed, strong doubling, especially in areas like the lettering or Jefferson's profile, can significantly increase the coin's value. Collectors are willing to pay enormous sums for clearly visible doubling because it is both rare and visually striking. Another major factor that can turn a 2002 D nickel into a multi-million-dollar coin is the presence of off-center strikes. This happens when the blank is not properly aligned within the striking press, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing and the remaining portion is shifted to one side. Depending on how dramatic the misalignment is and whether the date and mint mark are still visible, these coins can become extremely desirable, Imagine finding a nickel where nearly half the design is missing, yet the date 2002 and the D mint mark are still clearly readable. That combination alone can drive collectors into a frenzy. But the story does not end there, because some of the most valuable 2002 D nickels are believed to involve planchet errors, which occur before the coin is even struck. For example, if a nickel is accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination such as a dime, or even a foreign coin, the result is a piece that defies expectations in both size and composition. These wrong planchet errors are exceptionally rare and can command astronomical prices, especially when they are authenticated and graded by professional services. Another fascinating possibility is the presence of clipped planchets where a portion of the coin is missing due to a mistake in the cutting process. These coins have a distinctive curved or straight edge missing from their shape, and when combined with other errors such as doubling or misalignment, their value can skyrocket. Now let's talk about die cracks and die breaks, which are another category of errors that can make a 2002 D nickel incredibly valuable. Over time, the dies used to strike coins can develop cracks due to the immense pressure they endure. When these cracks transfer onto the coins, they create raised lines or irregularities that can vary from subtle to dramatic. In extreme cases, pieces of the die can break off entirely, leading to what collectors call cut errors, where a blob of metal appears on the coin's surface. These features not only make the coin unique, but also tell a story about the conditions under which it was produced, and collectors love coins that have a story to tell. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 2002 D nickel is the possibility of transitional errors. Although not widely documented, some experts speculate that experimental alloys or leftover materials from previous years could have been accidentally used during production. If such a coin were discovered, it could represent a unique piece of mint history and potentially justify an extraordinary valuation. And then there are strike-through errors, which occur when foreign material such as grease, cloth, or debris gets between the die and the planchet during striking. This results in missing or distorted design elements that can range from minor imperfections to dramatic absences of detail. A well-preserved strike-through error on a 2002 D nickel could be the key to unlocking immense value, especially if the error is clearly visible and adds to the coin's uniqueness. Now, beyond the technical errors, there is also the factor of condition, which plays a massive role in determining value. A coin with errors is valuable, but a coin with errors in near-perfect condition is exponentially more valuable. Collectors use grading systems to assess the quality of coins, and those that achieve high grades such as mint state 67 or higher are considered exceptionally rare, especially for coins that were originally intended for circulation. Finding a 2002 D nickel with significant errors and pristine condition is like discovering a needle in a haystack, and it is this rarity that drives the potential price into the millions. Another element that contributes to the mystique and value of the 2002 D nickel is the role of demand within the collector community. When a particular coin gains attention due to a unique error or a sensational auction result, it can trigger a surge in interest, leading collectors to compete fiercely for similar pieces. This competitive environment can push prices far beyond what might be expected based solely on the coin's physical characteristics. And in some cases, the story or legend surrounding a coin can become just as important as the coin itself. Imagine a 2002 D nickel that was discovered in a roll of coins by an ordinary person who had no idea of its significance. That narrative alone can add an emotional layer to the coin's value, making it even more desirable to collectors who appreciate not just the object but the journey it represents. Now you might be wondering how a coin that was minted in such large quantities could ever be worth $67 million, and the answer lies in the combination of rarity, uniqueness, condition, and demand. While millions of 2002 D nickels were produced, only a tiny fraction, if any, exhibit the kind of extraordinary errors that collectors seek, and among those even fewer are preserved in top condition. It is this convergence of factors that creates the perfect storm for a record-breaking valuation. And while not every 2002 D nickel will be worth millions, the possibility that one could be is enough to inspire people around the world to start checking their change more carefully. So what should you look for if you want to find one of these hidden treasures? Start by examining the coin's date and mint mark to confirm it is a 2002 D nickel. Then use a magnifying glass to inspect the details closely. Look for doubling in the lettering or design. Check for any misalignment or missing elements, observe the edges for signs of clipping and pay attention to any unusual textures or markings that could indicate a strike-through or planchet error. If you believe you have found something unusual, it is important to have the coin authenticated by a professional grading service, as this will not only confirm its authenticity but also provide an official assessment of its condition and value. And remember, even if your coin is not worth millions, it could still be worth significantly more than its face value depending on the type and severity of the error. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the 2002 D nickel is a perfect example of how something small and seemingly insignificant can hold incredible value. It is a reminder that treasures are often hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by those who take the time to look a little closer. So the next time you receive a handful of change, don't just toss it aside. Take a moment to inspect each coin, because you never know, you might be holding a piece of history, a minting anomaly, or even a multi-million-dollar rarity that could change your life forever. And that is what makes coin collecting so exciting: the thrill of the hunt, the possibility of discovery, and the knowledge that even the most ordinary objects can have extraordinary stories and values hidden within them. And with that said, keep searching, keep learning, and keep exploring, because your next coin could be the one that everyone else overlooked but you recognize for the treasure it truly is.